Welcome back to the Week 8 edition of my weekly NFL Pick'em. Last week was easily the worst week of NFL games yet this season, but considering that it took 7 weeks to get a bad week, I think that we've been pretty spoiled so far. But this week we've only got the Ravens and Raiders on bye, and it does not take long for a juicy matchup because this Thursday night we've got Packers at Cardinals. I want to apologize for skipping week 7. I still made my picks in the Pick'em group, and it was my worst week of the season too. It's probably because I didn't dive into the games as much as I usually do, but I really wanted to put as much effort and time as possible into my 2022 mock draft, and then I just had to redo the whole thing after the Deshaun Watson rumors surfaced. So please do me a favor, go and watch that after this, and don't forget to hit the like button on both videos. Remember, the goal on these Pick'em videos is 500 likes, and I did say that if we weren't able to hit our weekly goal every week, I was gonna have to find a new weekly video. So if I've got a big project like the mock draft and something has to hit the chopping block, it's gonna typically be the Pick'em video. But if that happens again this season, I promise it'll only be a 1 week hiatus, and this is some tough love, but like I've said before, I just can't prioritize things that aren't helping the growth of this channel right now because Pick'em videos are leaving it kind of stagnant. For those of you that have been hitting the like button and are subscribed, I want to say thanks so much. Y'all are some real ones. I've also got some more plans here to start using YouTube Shorts as a way to see what you guys would like to see a full-length video on. So you're gonna have to make sure you've got the notifications turned on for this channel or else you're gonna miss them. But enough of all that, let's get into week 8. Starting with the games on Sunday, we've got the Panthers at Falcons. Remember when the Panthers were trading for cornerbacks like they were a serious contender this season? Man, life comes at you fast, because then last week Sam Darnold went back to his old stomping grounds to play the Giants and was benched. And now the Panthers have come out and said that they do have interest in Deshaun Watson, but will not pursue a trade until the offseason, which now really puts the pressure on other teams that were interested in trading for him to get a deal done as soon as possible so they don't have that competition in the offseason. As for the only good quarterback in this game, Matt Ryan is putting this Falcons team on his back. It seems like he's really got a grasp of this new offense, but it just hasn't been enough to close out games. If it's still not enough this week, then the Falcons roster just is not good enough, and I think the team needs to set Matt Ryan free this offseason. Falcons win this one 28-26. Next up, we've got the Dolphins at Bills, and I was one of the Dolphins' biggest fans of their rebuilding process coming into this season. It seemed like they had nailed every part of it, other than squashing the Deshaun Watson rumors, and they still have failed to do so. We've seen what that uncertainty at quarterback will do to a team from what's taken place in Philadelphia for the past few years, but I can't use that as an excuse for the way that Tua Tagovailoa is playing. I don't even care that he threw 4 touchdowns last week. He has thrown some of the worst interceptions in the past 2 weeks that you'll see at some of the most inopportune times possible. On paper, this game should be a blowout by the Bills because their defense should eat this offensive line up, but if there's one thing that I hope that you guys can take away from some of my conspiracy takes is that you need to see the NFL storylines before they present themselves. I think that the Bills still win this one easily, but I think the Dolphins probably still cover, not because it makes sense football wise, but because this is the NFL way. Bills win 28-19. Next up, we've got 49ers at Bears, and I'm not sure which bad beat was worse last week, getting stomped by the GOAT and the world champs, or having a bomb cyclone or atmospheric river, whatever it's called, dropped on your head while Carson Wentz clumsily comes and beats you in your own house. I feel like I say this every week, but Matt Nagy is one of the worst coaches in the league, and everything about his track record tells me that he should lose to Kyle Shanahan, and now he's tested positive for COVID. But if there's one thing that Nagy has done is respond to bad beats with an actual game plan. It's how he's been able to wear this NFL head coach Halloween costume for the past 4 years. But his absence from the Bears facility might actually help the Bears offense breathe a little bit. Plus, you know, Justin Fields has had this one circled since he got drafted by the Bears. You know that he wants to make his former summer camp coach regret passing on him for Trey Lance. Bears win this one 24-21. Steelers at Browns. One of the benefits of missing last week is that I didn't put my foot in my mouth regarding Case Keenum because he's actually a very underrated backup quarterback in the NFL, especially in this scenario with his old quarterback coach calling the shots. He's got an elite running game, great weapons on the outside, and then a great defense to fall back on. Honestly, I can't wait to root for the Steelers in the post-Big Ben chapter because Mike Tomlin reminded me this week why he is still one of my favorite coaches in the league.
Guys, I don't have time for that speculation. I got one of the best jobs in all of professional sport. Why would I have any interest in coaching college football? Never say never, but never. Okay? It's not a booster with a big enough blank check.
Anyone else? All right.
Thank you. Anybody asking Sean Payton about that? You know, anybody asking Andy Reid about stuff like that?
But this 27th ranked offense is dragging the 13th ranked defense down, and the Steelers offensive line has got a matchup nightmare on their hands with Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney. For that reason alone, I'm going with the Browns 27-20. Eagles at Lions. So in the first version of that 2022 mock draft, I had the Eagles trading some of their draft riches to the Texans for Deshaun Watson. I was literally putting the finishing touches on it when the story broke of the Dolphins being the favorites. I probably still should have posted with the Eagles trade, and I may have then had time for the week 7 picks, but it felt like it would be a missed opportunity to not capitalize on the current news, even though my mock drafts aren't even getting views these days, but whatever. And now I've got another scenario in my back pocket for the post-trade deadline mock draft. But anyways, one of the things that I love about the game of football is the way that a team that is severely outmatched can level the playing field with aggression, the art of surprise, good coaching. The Lions did that last week against the Rams, and even though they didn't win, they didn't let Goff get clowned by his old team. And after this game against the Eagles, there's probably only 2, maybe 3 games where I could realistically see them having a chance to win, including week 18. That still sounds so weird, but if the Packers have things wrapped up, they could rest their starters and give the Lions a win. But how sad would it be for the Lions to go 0-16 twice? I don't think it happens. The Eagles have been playing like shit, so this is as good a shot of any for them. The Eagles have got the 3rd worst offense in the league over the last 3 games. And even though I love blasting Goff, at least the Lions don't have toxic rumors surrounding their starting quarterback. Jalen Hurts hasn't been good, but even he didn't deserve this. But who knows, after this week, Eagles might put him out of misery and ship him off to Houston or something. So Lions win 20-16. Rams at Texans. The Rams got through the Matthew Stafford revenge game, and now that that's over with, they can focus on thrashing the Texans. RIP Davis Mills. Rams win 38-16. Titans at Colts. The Titans beat the brakes off the Chiefs in the second biggest statement game of the week. The Chiefs had already been reeling, so the Titans probably did them a favor because now they can see that drastic changes need to be made if they're going to turn this thing around in 2021. But the Titans, they already had their wake-up call and have been on a tear since losing to the Jets. The Colts are a tough team to judge because they don't get style points for their wins, but a win is a win is a win, you know? They're balanced, they're well coached, so this is always going to be a physical chess match that could go either way. I think the Colts are good, but the Titans have that alpha persona, and this is one for the division lead. Titans win 23-21. Bengals at Jets. Guys, the Bengals have arrived because that was the most commanding statement game of the season because it was in Baltimore against the Ravens, who had been making their own claim as the best team in the AFC. It's crazy, after all that preseason speculation about Jamar Chase not being able to catch NFL football and Joe Burrow and his lack of confidence in himself, I think it's safe to say that Joey Franchise got his swagger back.
I think I got my swagger back.
But I gotta say, after watching the Jets last week, I felt pretty good about my 2022 NFL mock draft order prediction because I got the Jets picking number 1 overall. Even after trading for Joe Flacco, I don't think that they're going to screw that up. And the Bengals, they're going to have too many weapons for a majority of their matchups down the stretch and have officially entered the chat as AFC contenders. Bengals win this one 33-12. Patriots at Chargers. The Patriots, they beat the Jets out of their misery last week. Now poor Jets fans don't even have a rookie quarterback to look forward to catching just like slight glimpses of the future. And now they've got to watch Joe Flacco and cringe when he gets close to ruining their first overall draft pick. When digging through some stats for this game, I figured out the Chargers' Achilles heel. They have the worst running game in the league. Austin Eckler might be doing well for your fantasy team, but he's not establishing a consistent inside running game for the Chargers. Good thing they've got this Justin Herbert guy. However, having a mobile quarterback usually equates to a much more effective running game, but I think the Chargers haven't really made that a big enough part of the offense yet. Maybe this is the week to add some more read option to keep Belichick's defense on their heels. Chargers win this one 34-23. Jaguars at Seahawks. The Jags are coming off of a bye week, and we didn't hear of any Urban Meyer trips, so I think that's a win for them right there. Now they head to Seattle, who is watching their season fall apart without Russell Wilson, and I just can't believe that Geno Smith peaked on his first drive as the Seahawks quarterback, but then at the same time, I can totally believe it. The offensive game plan doesn't seem to be helping him much, but he's just too reckless for this coaching staff, and they've scaled this offense back to circa 2018, but even Geno Smith has to be better against this Jaguars 30th ranked defense. Seahawks win 24-16. Washington at Broncos. When the Deshaun Watson trade rumors to the Dolphins evolved into a 3-team trade, including Washington, I was surprised. I was excited for Tua. I actually really liked the fit for him to rejoin half of that Alabama squad he played with. However, I don't like it if Dan Snyder is the one behind it. You know this guy would be doing it for all the wrong reasons. He probably thinks that Tua's exotic name would make him appear more progressive as an owner. But these two teams are in kind of a similar situation. Both defenses should be carrying below average quarterbacks, but they're not. Even though the Broncos have the 5th ranked defense, I am the most surprised to see them playing so poorly as of late. Von Miller's in a contract year and should be playing for one more big payday, but he's looking like he lost a step. In fairness, he is 32. He's coming off of a serious ankle injury. He's got another ankle injury now, and he did try to be the emotional leader last week, but his body just let him down. With a few extra days to rest, I think this Broncos defense can turn it around, and the offense should be getting Jerry Jeudy back this week. It'll be interesting to see how Taylor Heineke responds to those quarterback trade rumors. I think he's got one more bad game in him before Washington pulls the trigger on another quarterback this year. Broncos win 20-17. Buccaneers versus Saints. Maybe I'm reading too deeply into this altercation with Traquan Smith, but based on what we already know about him, I'm starting to think that Jameis Winston has already worn out his welcome in the locker room. Not completely, but like, I bet you there's a huge chunk of guys that are probably very tired of his corny, forced leadership shtick. This week he gets his first shot at the Buccaneers in this week's revenge game. I'm not sure how the Saints did what they did to the Packers in week 1, and now they're struggling to beat Geno Smith-led Seahawks, but they did it once. I think that there's potential for them to do it again, and as long as they keep squeaking out wins, they are a dangerous dark horse, even with Officer Doofy at quarterback. However, it would be silly to pick up against the Bucs right now. I got the Bucs winning 30-21. On Sunday night, we've got the Cowboys at Vikings. Dak Prescott has been seen around the Cowboys facility without a walking boot, and that calf strain did get a nice little break, but this is going to be a quick turnaround for him. Obviously, there are different degrees of a strain. Could have been a mild one with maybe a little cramping, making that limp that we saw him walking around with after the Patriots game a little more exaggerated, but I'm still more than mildly nervous about it. The Vikings have placed Patrick Peterson on IR, and honestly, I'm not sure if that helps the Cowboys or the Vikings, because I don't think this old version of Fat Pete would have been able to hang with CeeDee Lamb or Amari Cooper. This matchup here features the Cowboys' #1 offense against the Vikings' #16 ranked defense, and then the Vikings' 5th ranked offense will be trying to move the ball against the Cowboys' 23rd ranked defense. Both of these teams are also coming off a bye, so I think it's safe to say that points will be scored. Weeks ago, I kind of pegged this one for the Vikings just because it seemed fitting. The Vikings have given them some trouble lately, but Mike McCarthy also has 10 games of coaching experience against Mike Zimmer when the two overlapped in the NFC North while McCarthy was in Green Bay from 2014 to 2018. But it's the Vikings' 26th ranked run defense against the Cowboys' #2 rushing attack that is the nail in the coffin for me. Even with Dak at 85%, this Cowboys team is too good for the Vikings. Cowboys win 35-26. And then on Monday night, we have got the Giants at the Chiefs, and things haven't been this bleak in Kansas City since Matt Castle struggled to put on his sideline cap. Andy Reid said after the Titans beatdown that he is seeing things that he hasn't seen before. I'm going to be on the lookout for a film expert to break down what this could possibly mean, but it doesn't seem like a good sign. I think he might be trying to take some pressure off of Patrick Mahomes, who's been worse than a Jackson Mahomes TikTok dance lately. Meanwhile, the Giants are coming off of a surprise win against the Panthers. Not super surprising that they won, but surprising in how they turned things on in the second half and held a team to 3 points in the opening quarter. It might have been one of Danny Dimes' best games overall since his first start against the Buccaneers. I don't know how many times I'm going to ask him to take a big hit like that though on trick plays, especially when he was stumbling off the field not too long ago. That's on coaching, which is one of the variables that is still in favor of the Chiefs. Chiefs win 29-19. And then on Thursday Night Football, we've got the Packers at the Cardinals. This is a big game for the NFC on a very short week. This matchup reminds me of one of the most memorable playoff games in my lifetime, where it was Aaron Rodgers against Kurt Warner. However, Devontae Adams might be out due to COVID, so that neutralizes this matchup from its full potential. I think actually Allen Lazard is going to miss this game too, so maybe this is a sneak peek of the full potential that this game could have if we get a playoff rematch. I really want this game to come down to a Hail Mary, since that's kind of been a calling card for both of the quarterbacks in this relative to the duration of their careers. Now, we all want to see a Hail Mary completed, but it's more likely to come down to Aaron Rodgers tossing one up to these bum-ass wide receivers and it falls incomplete. It's hard not to pick a undefeated team at home on a short week against a team without their best offensive weapons. Cardinals win 35-29. If you've made it this far, I really want to thank you. Things like watching until the end of a video are ways that you can really help creators on YouTube because it greatly impacts the algorithm. And I am sorry for the ultimatum at the beginning where it's like my videos or they die. The stress levels over here in the NFL retweet house have been pretty high. I've been having a bit of an identity crisis here ever since Twitter suspended my account. For those that don't already know, it was suspended for posting videos that other people had uploaded. I was just using the tweet this video feature, but some of those videos contain music, and Sony and Universal, they just put out copyright strikes in mass amounts for all of the tweets that are connected to that original video. But this Twitter account was the origin story of my internet presence, and luckily I started this YouTube channel a few years back, or I probably would have been forced to give up the social media gig altogether this football season. However, I think that I underestimated how much losing a Twitter following of almost 200,000 would hurt my bottom line altogether. This has been such a bust of a season for me so far that I honestly might have to start looking for a real job if I can't turn things around or Twitter doesn't unsuspend my account. It sucks because one of the benefits of starting your own business is that you're supposed to be able to be the one in control, but these social media platforms have us by the balls, and this is the danger of putting all of your eggs into baskets that you don't actually own. I'm still hopeful that Twitter will reinstate my account because I didn't even break any rules, but it is the second time that this has happened, and it didn't take long for them to reinstate me after the appeal the very first time I did it, and now my account's been suspended since June. Honestly, I hate that I'm even admitting this to you guys because I try to avoid sharing any kind of downer information here or letting you know that the future of this channel might be in doubt, but I'm actually hoping that being more transparent about it will help me moving forward and get this miserable rain cloud off of my head. In fact, while I'm putting it all out there, Dak said ask for help, so that's what I've done, and I started seeing a therapist because the depression has just reached kind of scary levels for me. I just feel so powerless after literally spending the last decade of my life creating a social media business to then just have it crippled by some greedy music labels that mass flag accounts with no regard for the people behind them, and Twitter gets scared that they'll sue, so they just suspend you. It's taken me 8 weeks to do this, but if you guys really want to help, get on Twitter and tweet at Twitter support to hashtag free NFL retweet and tag my account in there too at NFLRT, because I can't even get a human to respond to me over there. I've even gone through the Better Business Bureau, and then I just find out that Twitter's got an automated system that responds to that too, so I don't know what to do anymore, y'all. The Twitter account had already taken a backseat to this YouTube channel anyways, but I got a damn Twitter bird in my logo. Like, I don't know. I'd love any suggestions or ideas or support from you guys. It's been a tough time over here. Thanks for watching. Have a great week. Good luck to your football teams. Oh, happy Halloween, and I'll see you in the next video.